Clerk, call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Devin Allen, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4. Constitute a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Briggs from the Lighthouse Fellowship Church in Fort Worth. Thank you very much for coming out today. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we're so grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Lord, I thank you for the way in which your word displays to us the importance of government and law and order in our society. And we just pray, God, over this court this morning, that you would bless it by the power and presence of your Holy Spirit, to give them wisdom, to give them your guidance as they make decisions that affect so many people in this community that we love so well. We pray your blessings upon each one that serves, and we thank you for their service. And God, we pray that in all this you would be glorified. I pray this in the name of the one that I know your name as, the name of your loving Christ, Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Pastor. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have one announcement as it relates to the agenda this morning. That'll be under the County Administrator section, item 8A1. This is the rules of decorum. We are going to hold that particular item from 1 week. It'll be on the agenda for next week for your approval. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
But will this still be discussed and closed?
It will be discussed and closed next week before we ask for your approval.
Okay, thank you.
Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of October the 15th, as well as our special called meeting of October the 15th.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have a couple of, well, we don't have a couple. We have a congratulatory resolution. And then I believe that Commissioner Fickus, did you have something?
Yes.
I just thought I'd catch you right there in the middle.
Catch me in the middle. Okay, I want to announce and I want to thank the county clerk, Mary Louise Nicholson, for opening or about to open our passport office at the Northeast Courthouse on November the 4th. Is that correct? Correct. We are so looking forward to that. And we think it's just going to be a very, very busy place. So we will no longer be lonely on the second floor.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
And I have a resolution for the Fort Worth After School 20th anniversary. And I believe Miguel Garcia, and is Toby here?
Toby is not here, sir.
Well, come on down, and let me read this into the record, and then we'll allow you to make any comments you'd like to make. Whereas Fort Worth After School is celebrating 20 years of successful structured enrichment programs, and Lights On is a campaign that calls attention to the importance of after-school programs, and whereas funding and collaboration is unique to Fort Worth, as highlighted by the National Leagues of Cities, and whereas more than 100,000 students have participated in Fort Worth after-school programs since October 2000, and whereas approximately 12,000 students have participated for 3 years or more, and whereas long-term student participants demonstrate higher proficiencies in reading and math scores, and whereas school surveys show students enjoy school more often than their counterparts, stating that they feel safer and understand the importance of making good choices as a result of long-term participation, and whereas parents of long-term participants also indicate a higher satisfaction of school experience since their children have a safe and productive place to learn new skills. And whereas no long-term participant has ever been processed through Tarrant County Juvenile Services, that's a very good thing, which means students are making positive decisions. And whereas Fort Worth After School provide more than 500,000 meals for participants helping to address the food deserts in areas of Fort Worth, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby congratulate Fort Worth After School and Lights On the occasion of the 20th anniversary of after-school programs in Fort Worth. Be it further resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby recognize Fort Worth After School for enhancing and enriching the lives of children in Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 22nd day of October 2019, and I'll move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Brooks, would you like to join me?
Yes, and he brought some,
My team is here with me as well.
He brought a team.
You get in the middle.
Okay.
Well, this thing's gonna flash at least 3 times.
Any comments you want to make? Please
Sure.
feel free.
Judge Whitley, Commissioners, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years. I think Charlize and I have been on since the start. She was obviously 19 when she started. So she's been at it for a long time, as I have been. Like I said, when we started this back in October of 2000, we never thought we'd be here on this day. But we're glad we are, because we've had so many students pass through our doors with lots of great success, with a lot of support from the community, including Tarrant County government. Benny Medlin now sits on our coordinating board. He does a great job. We are proud to say, as you stated, that we have never had one regular participant, a student who's participated for 45 days or longer, and for multiple years has ever been processed through Tarrant County Juvenile Services. So we think there is a correlation there. So it's been an amazing ride for us, and we're truly appreciative of all your support. And whenever you have a chance, if you happen to be around one of our 77 sites, we'd invite you to come visit us, sit down, have a chat with some of the students, and talk about what you do and how you help the community, and encourage them to become successful students. And so we truly appreciate your support. We're looking forward. I don't know if Charlize is looking forward to another 20 years. Are you? I got to be honest, I'm not. I might be doing other things. But we truly appreciate your support. And yes, we are trying to address the food deserts. This year, we're going to serve full dinners at 82 of our sites in the school district this year. We think we're going to serve upwards of almost 800,000 meals this year in Fort Worth, just in Fort Worth ISD. That's not, we partner with the city of Fort Worth and their community centers, and we're trying to address as many of the spots, the food deserts that we can, to make sure that our students go home with a full belly if we can. So we appreciate your support, and like I said, if you all have an opportunity on Thursday night to come out to Van Zandt Gwynn, we'd love to have any and everyone in the community, because this is a true citywide effort, and we appreciate everyone's support. Van Zandt Gwynn, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And yes, we're going to be serving cake and cupcakes from Loft 22, who was on Cake Wars. So be there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, if I may, I've got an announcement.
Go right ahead.
Precinct 1's United Way event is going to be a fiesta this year. No more pancakes. We're going to have fajitas and all of the trimmings, including a non-alcoholic margarita machine. So come on out and what was that? Boo.
That was the kind of bring your own bottle. Boo.
We don't police the bottle.
Goodness.
The date is Friday, November the 1st, from 11:30 a.m. to 1 at the Dion Phillips Bagsby Southwest Sub Courthouse. Come on out, eat fajitas with us, get your mouths greasy, have a refreshing margarita, bid on some auction items, and help us support United Way. Again, that's Friday, November 1st, starting at 11:30 a.m.
Thank you, Commissioner Brooks.
Thank you.
I'd also like to introduce the HEB leadership has a class. This year's class 2020. One of the requirements is that they visit a public meeting, and I think we have 3 people here from the city of Bedford. James Richardson, y'all stand up. Joe Grasmick. Okay. There's 3 of you now. I thought somebody stood up over here and you were confusing me. And Russell always confuses me. And Mark Williams. So thank y'all for being here today. Again, congratulations on going through the leadership class. That's something that it's really important, I think, to get involved, and we appreciate y'all doing that. So thank y'all for being here. Did you have something you wanted to?
I do, yes. First, I wanted to thank Tarrant County residents who came out to our citizens training and election equipment demonstration that we hosted last Wednesday. It was a great opportunity for folks to familiarize themselves with the new equipment, and then also to get better understanding of how we came to have new equipment, and then also adopt and implement the vote center model. So I want to thank the Elections Administration and then everyone who came out to that. And of course, this is the second day of early voting for elections, particularly for Precinct 2. Of course, we actually, for everyone in the county and the state, we have the 10 constitutional amendments that are on the ballot. And then in Precinct 2, Arlington ISD has a bond proposition, as does Tarrant County College District, which of course that affects the entire county. Want to announce 3 upcoming events in Precinct 2, one of which I believe has been hosted in Commissioner Fickus's precinct as well as Commissioner Brooks, but it's an Alzheimer's Community Forum on November 13th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. The second of which is our fall open house and toiletry drive. We will be collecting snacks and toiletry items for the students, faculty, and staff of Tarrant County College Southeast Campus. That will be on Saturday, November 16th from 10 to 12:30. And for those of you who perhaps are not able to attend the event but still would like to contribute to the effort, you can bring by your donation items to our office here in the administration building. And then, much like Commissioner Brooks with his fiesta for United Way, we are having a taco bowda party. And that is on Friday, November 22nd. We have quite a few activities in both Arlington and the Mansfield Sub-Courthouse, including a Halloween decorating contest and some other things leading up to that event on the 22nd. So we'll be sure to announce these again just for everyone. And if you want additional information about any of those 3 events, please feel free to contact our office.
And I look forward to one of y'all, paying for lunch as we go forward, as in the years past.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
But he who controls the formula.
No. We can go through this time and again. I divide your numbers by 5, even though y'all got 45 or 50 in your.
But let me tell you the irony of the whole thing. That you're not telling the whole story, Judge. Who cooks your hamburger?
A former employee of mine.
No,
He is a former employee of mine. I hired him into the county.
the workforce from Precinct 3 is the ones who cook those hamburgers.
They have such a love for their former commissioner that they just anxiously volunteer every year.
Yeah. The whole thing smells.
Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, to be exact.
And then he's the counter. He's the one that does the
No. We have our folks do
The
that.
things you find out.
What I will be audited. We can bring in Deloitte.
That's good.
We can't afford to. That'll take care of all the money that we raise. But I mean, we can bring in Deloitte, and they can officially audit the calculations. I'm afraid if they do, y'all's numbers are going to probably go down.
Moving on.
Okay, moving right along
Yeah.
while we can. Court members, you have before you our consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius?
Your Honor, Ms. McMillan is going to present items 2 and 3 this morning.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
Morning.
I have before you today approval of 2 tax increment financing participation agreements. The City of Crowley and in the City of Grand Prairie. Both were brought to you for briefing back at the first of the summer, and now we're here to follow up with completion of participation. The first one is the City of Crowley Tax Increment Financing Reinvestment Zone number 1. It was originally established in 2013, and as you can see on the map, this is a 957-acre tax increment reinvestment zone. There was no formal plan at the time this was established, and over the past years, the City of Crowley has been seeking formal plan, and then in 2018, the Caris residential development, a 2,000-home development, was brought to the city. This development, as you may recall, is being done by the Nehemiah Company and Bob Kimball, so it will be similar to what we have in Arlington at the Viridian development. So at that time, the City of Crowley approved an extension of the term of the zone and modified their project and financing plans to include funding for the infrastructure cost that would help fund infrastructure of water and sewer improvements and other costs for development at the Caris development, along with the original downtown development that they had in the plan. Totally, the cost of public infrastructure in this TERS is $172,357,022. The City of Crowley is contributing their tax increment at 90% to fund the projects and have requested the county to participate at 75% and the hospital district at 50% of their increment through, through tax year 2052. That would be starting with, for the county, tax year 2019. So we'll be starting the increment. We won't be going back, but we will start in 2019. At the 75%, we are estimating that the county's projected contribution would be approximately $34.3 million, with $11.4 million in new revenues coming to the county at the same time over that period. And then at the hospital district, we'll be contributing approximately $21 million over the remaining 33 years, with that same amount, because they're doing it 50%, coming back in new revenue to the hospital district. So we're being asked today to approve the participation agreement that provides for these terms of participation in the Crowley Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone number 1 for both the county and the hospital district.
This is a development project that will completely change the face of Crowley. 2,000 new units of quality housing from the Nehemiah Company, plus a revitalized downtown will take advantage of the tremendous growth that is moving into southwest Tarrant County, primarily thanks to the opening of the Chisholm Trail Parkway Thanks, NTTA. Good segue this morning. To make ready for this new development, Crowley is entering into an arrangement with Trinity Metro to bring mass transit services to the city through a grant that I was able to engineer to bring mass transit to Forest Hill, Everman, and Crowley. That service will be kicked off in November. It's a on-demand service, but it will connect the citizens of Crowley to transportation hubs in downtown Fort Worth, so that they can get to the airport and can get to other places in the county that are served by Trinity Metro. All of this planning has taken place over a long period of time. It's now time to actualize and approve the plan. Accordingly, I move approval of the county and hospital district's participation in the Crowley tax increment reinvestment zone.
I'll second the motion. Let me ask you just a couple of questions. One is the amount of dollars. Have we put a ceiling on that?
Yes, those figures
Those
that
figures
I
you
mentioned to
gave
you,
were the
that is the
ceiling
cap.
And then you mentioned something about some work being done on revitalizing the downtown or the. I see the 2,000 homes, but what are we actually doing within the commercial area of downtown? Or are we doing some work in that particular area?
We're doing streetscape. Is there anybody from the city?
Yeah.
Come on up and explain what you're doing with downtown Crowley.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we're doing quite a bit with downtown. So beginning in November, we're letting a Main Street redevelopment project. So what we're basically doing is, currently Main Street is open culverts and it's not walkable unless you really want to strengthen your prayer life. But it's pretty much, so what we're going to do is we're going to put in curb gutters, sidewalks, a couple of roundabouts, public art, public furniture. We've also completely redone the zoning for downtown to encourage businesses to move up onto the sidewalk. And if anybody likes Cajun food, Bourray's Cajun Restaurant is the first new business that is building up on the sidewalk, and they will be open in December. So we're very excited about that. So we are looking at revitalizing and putting in more energy by making downtown walkable. We're also putting in a 2-acre plaza that will be pretty much our gathering place for the community. So we'll have concerts, movies, all kinds of craft shows, festivals, that kind of stuff going on in the downtown core on a regular basis. So and this picture depicts just the Karis development, not the TERS in its entirety, but we do have some photographs and whatnot. Kind of where it says Crowley in the blue there is pretty much the downtown core. We also are looking at doing some more housing in the downtown core, some multifamily, a TOD station eventually. As Commissioner Brooks said, we are working with Trinity Metro to implement this new transit policy, which we're very grateful for. We're real excited about that. And so a lot of development going in, townhomes, a little bit higher of a density in the downtown core to attract more restaurants and retail. We're also working with local residents to teach them how to be developers and invest in their community. So the TERS and will help us make this a reality.
Okay.
I hope that answers what you're looking for.
Good job.
Thank you.
What's the total acreage of this turf?
I want to say about
957.
957. Thank you. 957 acres.
I believe it's 957.
And you got that's 2,000 homes?
Yes. So Karis will consist roughly of 2,000 homes.
So that's just the 72 acres.
That's
will be
just
the
that's
2,000.
just no. Well, that'll be Karis overall is about 500 acres, 565 of the 900 of the over 900 acres. 500 of it'll be Karis, and they're roughly 2,000 homes. Excuse me, and you'll have some other housing that'll go in there as well. Another 500 homes, approximately on top of Karis's 2,000.
So for the Karis homes, what's the price range for those homes?
Those homes be about 300,000 up. So it's right in line with what we're seeing development-wise around Crowley. So we recently had a subdivision just go in down off of Crowley Road that started in the 300 range, and the developer was anticipating finishing that development about 2023, and he's finished now. So it's been pretty remarkable, that kind of growth. And we do have a very good mixture of both starter homes and moving up. But really, where we're really in need is more the kind of the move-up home. So we've got a very strong and stable starter home mix product in our city, but really what we'd like to see is a move-up. Kind of like in the car business, you get your entry car and then you need to move up to keep people in the community. And so we really view Karis as more once somebody gets into Crowley and then they need to move up, they have a place to do that.
Well, knowing Mr. Kimball, you're going to have a wide selection, and he'll cross all price ranges.
He will. He will. They've done a very good job. They'll have a variety of mixes of townhomes to single family to all kinds.
Is this going to 2052?
Yes, sir.
So what are we, 30?
33 years.
About
33
years left that will be participating.
Is that a little above our normal?
Lately, we've been doing 30 with the Viridian. When they did some expansions, we went out to 40 on that one when we approved that. We've got a couple of other TIFs now that are 40 years also. And you know, the reason with Crowley, again, nothing happened. This was done in 2013, and it was kind of stagnant. And this is coming in, so that's why they expanded it out.
Okay.
You know,
Then we kind of waited to see what the legislature
what was going to
gonna
happen.
do
Yes,
to
and that's
us.
why we were waiting. And I do want to say, because we're looking at this to be similar as Viridian, Viridian came in with they have a mixture similar to this is going to be. And right now, if you look at the project plan, at this time, Viridian was projecting values of about $400 million, and they're at about $700 million now instead. So that cap will be reached probably much sooner because the values are probably going to be a lot larger than what they're actually anticipating.
Now, I don't probably need to remind, but since I don't know how many of these we've done since you've come on board, but we put the cap on there just for that reason. Had we not put a cap on there, we'll reach the cap for Tarrant County probably in about half the time or half the length of the TIF. So that's when we stop. We stop when we put in that much money.
Sure.
And that way if the city or whoever the sponsoring entity is wants to do more, they have to come back to us in order to do more. Just, I guess to some extent, similar to what we're doing here. There was a TIF. We've expanded. What you're doing is you're expanding the TIF and asking for additional funds. And so as a result of that, had we not had the maximum on there, then in effect, the board, the TIF board could have voted. And usually in most of these TIFs, we'll have one representative versus anywhere near a majority representative. And it's just an easier way to kind of protect our ability to make decisions as to what they do within those TIFs.
Lisa, will you repeat what the hospital district's contributions are to this, and then how we came to that figure?
So the hospital district, and let me say that the reason the participation, when they came to us in 2013, the requested participation initially was 75% and 50%. So I know that going forward, we have been not looking at putting hospital district in, but because this was something that had been worked on years ago, the hospital district at that point, we were looking at 50%. So that's why we continue to keep them in at 50%, and the expected cap is going to be $21,037,845. So that's over the next 33 years, but it's at 50%. So that's $21 million of new revenue that will also be coming in to the hospital district at the same time.
And that's based off of the previous agreement from 2013.
Correct, the percentage.
Any other questions? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. The next item we have is for approval of participation with the City of Grand Prairie in their tax increment financing reimbursement zone number 1. So the City of Grand Prairie originally established their TERS number 1 back in 1999. At the same time we were doing Grand Prairie 2 and 3, which included part of Tarrant County. TERS 1 was only along I-30 in Dallas County. But since then, in 2018, the Grand Prairie City Council, they extended and expanded TERS 1 to include 8 development areas, including an area that you see as number 6 up there on the west side of 360 in Tarrant County. This area includes the Riverside Golf Course, as shown right here. So that green portion up in the left that's in Precinct, shows in Precinct 1, that's actually in Tarrant County. There is, if you can kind of follow the line down, there is just a small portion at the south end of that green section that is in Commissioner Allen's precinct, and it is actually land that is owned by the city and not taxable, but it is in Tarrant County also. So as far as this west side, a development team that is associated with Viridian, so this is Nehemiah Development again, is looking to take adjacent to the Riverside Golf Course. They're going to be doing a development that adds hotel, convention space, and multifamily uses at this location with an estimated $105 million in new taxable investment. So the City of Grand Prairie is asking Tarrant County to assist with an estimated $34 million in frontage roads improvement along 360. Let's see if that would go back. Okay. The City of Grand Prairie is putting 100% of its increment to fund the zone, and that's throughout the zone in Dallas County, all throughout. And they're requesting county participation at a rate of 50% of its property tax increment, starting with tax year 2019, and this would run through tax year 41. The hospital district is not being asked to participate. At that 50%, we are looking at a cap of $6,959,909. And today we're asking for your approval of this agreement.
Are the first couple of floors underwater rooms?
I think actually I didn't put the slide that they had shown, but the slide that they had proved renderings and all, it was actually raised.
For those of y'all who don't know, that area is, that golf course has spent more time underwater than it has above water.
Kind of like my game.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Is Mr. Garcia here?
Thank you, guys.
Nope.
His staff is, Your Honor.
Come on down. Everything going well?
Second day of early voting, so far so good. Still early.
Still
We'll
early,
see.
you know, for about 13 or 12 more days, I guess.
November the 1st, last day of early voting. Good
Y'all
morning.
hear that? November the 1st,
November
the
the
last day of early voting.
Please don't wait till the last 2 days. Please don't. Those are real busy for us. Good morning, everybody, commissioners and county judge. Today, we're here before you to request approval of proposed changes to the voting precinct boundaries effective January the 1st, 2020. The changes that we were requesting are due to comply with Election Section Code 42.006 as well as Legislative Plan H411. Those incorporate changes to voters that were precincts that had more than 5,000 registered voters, excluding suspense voters, or close to that amount. The reason for evaluating those is to make sure that we comply with the law and we accommodate all the precincts as we do so. The other changes are due to the Legislative Council changes that were required upon us. And we just took some other precincts that were not quite at 5,000, but we evaluated the area to make sure that the registration would not get close to 5,000 in the next year. So we would have enough growth time for the next redistricting in 2021. I understand Mr. Hyder had presented that information to y'all to review it. If y'all have any questions, please let me know.
Just for the listening audience's sake, can you share how, like, when you make the changes to the precinct boundary lines, what generally are what's your practice in doing that?
Okay, when we look at the area, the precinct's already established. We look at the surrounding areas. We look at the population. We also have to reference the information in the districts that are surrounding that area. As you know, we cannot merge one precinct with another precinct if they fall under the categories that they might be in a different commissioner precinct, justice of the peace, congressional district, representative district, or senatorial district. We evaluate the lines. We evaluate the population on the precincts that are joint to them to see if it can be merged into it or not. If the growth and the population is close to 4,500, we don't want to move another 500 voters because then we're in the same situation. That constitutes us to make a new precinct because we cannot move them over to either of the surrounding precincts. So we move over to determine a line to split that precinct into two. We look at the major highways to make sure that when we make that line, we kind of evaluate the population that will remain in the new one, as well as moving over to the new precinct. We also look at what the polling place might have been in that precinct, where the precinct chair was established to try to keep that in the current precinct, and then make the new portion the new precinct. So at evaluating that, sometimes there was two precincts that we were able to move over to a joint precinct. The rest of them, we decided that it was best to make it a new precinct. It was a new area, a new development. There could be new homes moving in, new registrations, so it might put us in a higher population in the next year. We're trying to eliminate having to redistrict in the next year and maybe not do anything until 2021 when the new census numbers come in, and we will be required to do new redistricting.
Thank you. Just want to share that there are 7 precincts in Precinct 2 that were affected, and I understand using the natural boundary lines and district lines and things like that. So I don't have concerns about those changes. I did just, and this is probably, it's not, what's the word I'm trying to use? Because we went to the vote center model, it will not affect folks as much, but in the past, if the precinct boundary lines changed, and then voters would be concerned that they wouldn't know where to go vote on election day. But of course, I know you all have gone through the process of notifying both parties and seeing if they've had any concerning feedback, and then you sent letters to precinct chairs. Correct. And then also all registered voters will get updated certificates showing their precinct and other information.
Right. The mass mailing for certificates is due at the end of the year, so at that time we'll incorporate the changes, and all certificates will go out to all voters. Great. And the new ones will get the new precinct information.
Very good. So I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any other questions or discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Glenn, I saw Ann's moving, and so is Ann. I guess Ann just is handling it today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 2 items for the court this morning. First, we asked you to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Our second item is an out-of-class pay extension for budget and risk management. It's effective October 27th. This is for the risk analyst serving as the risk manager. We do expect the cost to the general fund to be completely offset due to the vacancy of the manager position.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Batcham, come on down.
Since Arkansas didn't play over the weekend, we can skip.
I was there.
They didn't play. We can skip that part of the meeting.
I especially like that little pass from the punter to the other team.
That's cute, wasn't it?
Yeah, it worked real well.
Well, I saw a stat last night that said Alabama has a 99% chance to defeat us Saturday. So we get them right where we want them. They're overconfident.
That's a good thing.
We have 6 items for your consideration. Speaking of United Way stuff, we have one at heat and suite event again with the 3rd floor, budget and risk management, HR and purchasing, scheduled for November, the first Tuesday in November, which is the 4th, I believe.
I believe that's right.
Chili, sweets, no margarita machine, but bring your money. We'll take it all.
Very good.
We have 6 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-168. This is a bid for the replacement of the parking garage gates at the Calhoun Garage and the Plaza Surface Lot. Our recommendation will be toward the Associated Tire Instruments Company in the amount of $278,219.08. If approved, we're seeking contract approval, acceptance of the payment, and the performance bond.
Move for approval.
Second, so I can ask a question. Why are we doing this?
I'm glad you asked that question. The ones we got not working?
That's
$278,000 question.
there's some gates. Gotta include something else.
The current equipment, the parts are now obsolete. We're unable to replace any of the parts currently. So because of this, we have put the product out for rebid, but that's the primary issue. In the event we were to lose the point of sale machine, someone would have to hand build the machine if they could find all the parts off of eBay or some source of that nature. So that's actually why we're having to redo it.
Thank Mr. Phillips for throwing you under the bus this morning.
I will give him a hug.
Hand bill, is that, okay, yeah, go ahead.
What's wrong with doing that?
Call the question.
Vote. Motion passes unanimously, reluctantly.
Item number 2, bid award recommendation for bid 2019-256. This is our new contract for maintenance of FLIR, our FLIR video management system. Recommendation will be to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding to EMC Integrated Systems Group.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Before we go forward, I'm going to go back for a minute. So we're talking about 2 places. And we're talking about $278,000 for 2 sets of gates?
2 systems.
2 gates.
2 systems.
2 systems to complete parking system, which includes the gates, ticket spitters, cash registers, pay and lane station, the whole shebang. Everything that you currently see will be replaced in both the Calhoun Garage and the Plaza Surface Lot.
Don't leave.
Go ahead.
None of that equipment is available to purchase.
The key elements of the machines are not available. We currently have a mono. Those parts, we've had them since 2004 in the Calhoun, 2008 at the Plaza Service Lot. Any typical set of equipment like this, you might get 7 to 10 years. We're approaching 15, so it's kind of outlived its usable life.
I thought we had contracted with somebody for the Calhoun to collect the money and do all of that.
Standard parking.
Standard parking.
Yes, sir.
So as a part of their deal, they don't furnish the equipment and take care of that?
The equipment is ours.
Maybe we ought to make it theirs.
I'm not discussing.
Okay.
Number 3, bid award recognition for bid 2019-261. This is our annual contract for welding equipment supplies, industrial medical gases. Recommendation will be torn on a per unit price basis, awarding to Air Gas USA.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 4, bid award recommendation for bid 2019-264. Signing a contract for asphalt road surfacing products for use by all precincts. Recommendation be torn on a per enterprise basis, awarding to the 5 primary vendors as shown in the court communique.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 5, bid award recommendation for bid 2019-268. This is a new annual contract for THC quantification analysis for the Sheriff's Office. Recommendation be toward a per price basis, awarding to the primary and secondary vendors as shown in the court communique.
THC
That's the hemp oil.
quantification analysis. They're gonna analyze the pot to see if it's really pot.
Yes, sir.
It's also the level of that particular drug that is legal. I think it's .003. We worked with our
This is
medical-
a reaction to the hemp bill that passed the
Right,
legislature.
and we first tried to see if our crime lab could do that, and we don't have the machinery to do that.
Has this lab been approved by the Office of Court Administration? Because it's my understanding from a seminar or from a conference that I went to, that where David Slayton, who's the chair or the executive director of that they have to approve, and they are the only ones that can approve a company that can certify this.
There were 2 labs that we knew were in operation. One was in Pennsylvania, and the other one is in Irving. And the National Medical Services Lab, NMS, actually has a Grand Prairie office. So these were the 2 labs in the country that everybody knew of.
That didn't answer my question. We know of them, but has OCA said that this lab is certified to, and that their results are acceptable?
Your Honor, finally, I'm sorry, Judge.
Please come up. Please come forward.
Judge, these are the only 2 labs that are approved in the entire country to do this type of testing, and both of these that we went through the bid process on are the 2 that the DA's office will accept findings from to prosecute cases with regards to any form of marijuana.
Okay. That still didn't answer my question.
So
OCA has said at a conference, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but OCA is the one that kind of handles all the court administration.
Let me make a suggestion. Since we have some other items to go through yet, we'll very quickly, if we'll just pass on this one, we'll make a quick call to OCA. We can ask them real quickly and get that answer for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Last item, number 6, item in regards to bid 2019-267. This was our annual contract for ServiceNow subscriptions and user licenses. We are suggesting that we reject the one proposal that we received, which did not meet the minimum requirements, and bring it back to you in a week or so.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Commissioner Fickus, I believe you have an interlocal agreement.
I do. It's Town of Westlake. And I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Appointments. There being none. And we will move forward to the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manish, briefing items.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have 3 items to bring to you this morning. I'm going to do the first briefing. That's going to be on the hospital district's bond package update, and then we'll have 2 other briefings after that. Members of the court, on September 17th, we held a joint meeting between the Commissioners Court and the Board of Managers of the Hospital District to talk about the JPS bond package. At that meeting, we talked about how we were going to move forward and that we were going to come back to the court on a monthly basis and brief you on the status of where we are and what we anticipate is coming up in the next month or 2. And so that's what I intend to do today. You might recall that at the September 17th meeting, we talked about the issue of engaging an integrated program management organization, one that would be more than just a project management group, but be very comprehensive. Think of it as an umbrella organization that would help create oversight and direction for the Commissioners Court and the Board of Managers. Since that time, we have been working diligently to put together an RFP as relates to this. And I will tell you that the RFP is a very complicated device simply because of all the different things that we're requesting this particular company or grouping of companies to do. We have been working every week since then. Both JPS and they have engaged several consultants to help us write this technical document. We've also included members of my staff and myself, and also Mr. Phillips, the Director of Facilities Management for the county, who actually gave up several days of his vacation this past week so we could drive this thing to an almost finish line. And I believe that we're very, very close. There's several things that we still need to talk about before we create the final draft. I think we'll have that final draft by next week. And it's the pricing model on how we price out a program that's going to be at least 10 years in making and the different elements of that. And as I said, I believe that we have some excellent resources in the room in writing this thing, and hopefully we'll be finished with that by next week. In fact, our last meeting, which was yesterday, we didn't get out of that thing till about 6:30 last night. So those are the kind of hours we're putting in. Once we get to that final draft, the planning committee of the hospital district is going to look at the final document on November 7th and have input. I'm going to be providing the Commissioners Court with that document probably next week sometime. It is a draft. It is not the final document because we want to have your input so we can finalize the thing. Once we do that, our timeline and time schedule is pretty much in place, but it all depends on whenever we get the final approval of the RFP. And then, because our goal is still to put this thing out on the street as quickly as possible, to have a situation where it comes back initially to JPS, and it'll go through their planning committee to do some of the scoring. Your PAs will be invited to participate, not as a scorer, but to observe. And then it's our goal to bring the 3 top scoring entities here to the Commissioners Court for you all to interview and to make a final decision on the company. Now, we're following the same recommendations and process that we laid out on the September 17th meeting and the Commissioners Court approved. So we're following your direction on that. Hopefully by January, we're going to get the thing out. We'll bring it back in sometime late December, and we'll start scoring, and hopefully we'll have someone on board sometime during January. But it all depends on when we get this final draft, and everything else. That timeline pretty well lays out there. So, as I said, we're going to get that document to you. That is not a public document. It's a final draft document because we will eventually release to the public the document itself. So it'll be a working document, and we'll ask that you take a good hard look at it. If you feel like you want to have some conversation in court on that, that would be fine. If you wanted to forward your comments to me, that would be fine also. They will be incorporated into the final document for your approval.
Would you provide this court with the names of the members of the planning committee at JPS, please?
I will. I don't have them right now, but yes, we will do that. So that's where we are. We promised you a monthly update, and we're right there at that month. And in a month, we're going to come back and tell you exactly where we are. You'll be hearing from us before that month, though. You'll be hearing us within the next 2 weeks, but our goal.
Next week we're going to get copies.
I think so. You know, one of the things that we're looking at, and we've got several different models, is the pricing aspect of that, because this entity that the IPMO that we're going to finally engage, that may be a group that may be with us for 10 years. And so we're trying to figure out how we price what we're going to pay that IPMO. And we have different models. We got some more this morning, but we'll make sure that you all see those. I think we have some really pretty good ideas. It's an expensive project. It's a $1.2 billion bond program. And so we want to make sure that, and the contract that we'll have with the IPMO is going to be substantial.
Construction program. It's an $800 million bond program.
That's correct. Yeah, it's $800 million in bond and $400 million that the hospital district is going to bring forward.
You said $1.2 million bond program.
I meant building program.
That's why I just wanted to be sure that everybody heard that, because we'll walk out of here and somebody will start saying we got 400.
You know, Judge, I always appreciate the fact that you are able to correct me in a public forum.
I try as much as I can.
It just works out great. It's that warm feeling.
So one other question: is it going to be an RFP or an RFQ?
It's an RFP.
And I know that there will be a weight placed upon different facets of the program. When you send out the draft of the program, can the court also decide how the weighting is going to be determined?
That is all part of the RFP, and you will see that.
Okay, so that will be in there, and we'll know exactly how much weight's going to be put on.
That was about an hour discussion last night. So we're working on that. But yes. So, are there any other questions? Okay, thank you. The next item on the briefing agenda is the Ntta briefing. Ms. Camarillo, you're going to.
I'm going to begin by, I should have gotten y'all up and brought y'all up at the front part of this deal. I apologize for you getting to sit through all the fun.
That's all right, Judge. We sat here listening to y'all talk about food, fajitas, and margaritas, so we're enjoying that. We're actually getting hungry.
I'm sure that both of them will be more than glad to take your contributions
all right.
United Way.
Well, thank you, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Moji Haddad. And today I have also other Director Tim Carter, who recently, as you know, joined our board and replaced our former chairman, Ken Barr, which he had big shoes to fill in, but he's getting up there.
He looks like he's got pretty big shoes.
Yes. Anyway, but he.
In the shape yet?
Yes, sir.
Have you got him whipped into shape?
Well, I really don't need to. He's in good shape. he's bringing a lot of great experience to the board, and especially with his financial background, quite frankly, it's been a great asset to us, and we appreciate it. Also, I want to say now publicly thank you for allowing our former chairman, Ken Barr, serve for almost 11 years, and he was a great leader for our board, and we miss him, but our new chairman is getting up there, and he's doing a great job, Chairman Mahalik, so we appreciate also that. Today, we're really here to, I also want to acknowledge our two of the members of legislative and staff here, Arturo Balestro and then Inga Dida from our NTTA staff. And I also want to acknowledge Elizabeth Mao, who will be coming here in just a minute to make the presentation for the plan. But today we're here to present a 5-year capital plan, which will outline some of the projects that we're currently working on, some of the major projects, and some of the ones that they're in the plans and it will be coming up afterwards. But the main one that she'll be focusing on today will be the 5-year capital plan. And with that, Elizabeth, would you like to please come here? Thanks.
Morning,
Thank
friends.
you.
Morning.
Welcome.
Well, we definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here. It seems like a long time since we've talked about projects that we want to advance together. So we're excited. This is our 5-year capital plan. It is our roadmap, no pun intended, and it outlines our commitment to the region. Everything we do is aligned around our mission. It is, let's see if we can get this to work here. We're here to provide a safe and reliable toll road system. There you go. And we're here to partner with all of our transportation partners across the region to meet the infrastructure needs for everyone. And we do just that. We believe the work of transportation provides a quality of life that everyone deserves in North Texas. So let's talk about our capital plan. It is a rolling 5-year capital plan, which means that we update it every single year. We work with the region. Every project in here has been coordinated with the region to make sure we are only advancing projects that have critical needs and they are the priority of the region. It's a fiscally constrained model, so we are identifying funding needs in this plan, and it has all the cost estimates, all the scopes, as well as the schedules defined in this plan. So this really, truly is our roadmap. All of our customers, all your constituents, all the residents of North Texas can look at this plan and see what's to come. So since when we opened the Chisholm, Judge, 2014, I believe it was May of 2014, right after that project, the NTTA turned its focus to internal improvement and expansion. We went to our existing system, our flagship corridors that some almost 50 years old, to safety improvements and expansions. So we have, or will be, expanding the entire President George Bush Turnpike nearly 52 miles to add a 4th lane to that. Most of the Dallas North Tollway is getting a new lane. Large interchange improvements have been completed, and we are currently under construction to add a 4th lane to the Sam Rayburn Tollway, or 121. So again, we have spent the better part of 5 years since the opening of Chisholm Trail Parkway focusing on our existing customers and our existing corridors. And this is just a graphical representation that we like to show when we're in public of what we've been doing. We have planning projects, we have design projects, we have construction projects. We're just gearing things up for when the time is right, the priorities right, and the financial funding is in place. Over 200 new lane miles and more than $1 billion have been reinvested in our system with issuing no new debt. So that's what we've been working on since we cut the ribbon on the Chisholm Trail Parkway. But we're excited to be here today because the new capital plan that the board has approved has some new projects in it. These new projects are from the region, the priorities across the system. So I will tell you that they are in no particular order. They are in no particular order. They are in no particular order. Okay?
Are they in any particular order?
No, ma'am. So I'm going to start due north. Okay, this is the first project that's being added. It is the extension of the Dallas North Tollway from Salina up to the Grayson County line. Then we have the East Branch, which is the natural extension of the Bush. Then we have the 360 Elbow, which connects the Bush, the western part of the Bush, to the new 360 Tollway, and then the Chisholm Trail Parkway build out. So we're going to talk in some some specifics to each one of these. So this is the Due North project, about 7 miles in length, again, from Salina all the way up to Grayson County. This project is in Collin and Denton County. The alignment's approved, and we just need to get the environmental reeval going and start the design. This is a $500 million project, total project cost. In our capital plan, we have the planning and just the beginning of that design. So no commitment to construction at this time. Our 5-year capital plan is planning and part of the design.
How far are we ultimately going with the Dallas North Tollway? Are we going to the Red River?
That is my hope, sir.
I was thinking Minnesota.
There is a lot of development north, I will tell you, north of Collin County into Grayson County. There is a Grayson RMA up there that has plans to put a frontage road, what would be the tollway's frontage road, in place in the next 5 years. So to answer your question, yes.
I'm going to ask you a political question that you may not be able to answer, or you may look over there. If we go, once we go into a county, do we have to, at that point in time, add them to? Do we add them, or does the legislature add them to the?
Well, I will say, first of all, as it pertains to Grayson County, they have their own RMA, so they have the right to build that tollway. NTTA cannot go into Grayson County and build that tollway without them saying it is okay. Now,
they could ask us to do that.
That's right. That is right. But there is legislative rules about how and when a county is added to the NTTA.
So even if they did ask us, that does not, and conditioned our doing that on us admitting them into the NTTA, can that happen, or does the legislature have to first give permission for Grayson County to join the NTTA if they would like?
It is my understanding that the current law is written by figures. X percent of the population, X percent of revenue. That is actually how a county gets added to the NTTA.
Okay, thank you.
So moving on to the next project that we discussed, this is the East Branch. So the natural extension of the bush to the east. This is a little over 11 miles. It's from 30 down to 20. In Dallas County, TxDOT is advancing this environmental right now, looking to partner with them to move that forward. It's a big project, estimated total project cost $1.2 billion, and new project alignment across the board. And again, just the planning and part of the design is in this 5-year capital plan. So the next project is what we, as you all know, affectionately call the elbow. This connects the western part of the bush to the new 360 tollway. This would be a direct connector of sorts to connect the two tollways, to take that traffic that is dumping from 360 or from the bush off of already congested IH-20.
That's throwaway money. You ought to be able to do that in no time at all.
Just money, sir. Approximately 5 miles. Again, it connects the two tollways. This is in Dallas and Tarrant counties. This is a new project alignment, so it would require a full environmental from the start along the interstate. What a challenge. The estimated total project cost, we're looking currently at $370 million. And again, the planning and part of the design are in the 5-year capital plan. The next project is the build out of the Super 2, as we call it, of the Chisholm Trail Parkway. It's about 13 miles, as you recall, when we built the Chisholm. We did not build all 4 lanes down in Johnson County due to financial restrictions. This project completes that, 2 lanes in each direction, servicing Crowley and the new, what we discussed this morning. The alignment's approved. The right-of-way is complete. It's about $240 million. And again, the planning and design are included in this plan.
Excellent.
So lots of projects we're talking about concrete, steel, but we're eager to tell you about another project that's in there. We're calling it the Dallas North Tollway Corridor Study. And it's important, the board did approve last month for us to move forward with this procurement, and it's important not because it's just along the Dallas North Tollway, it's important because it's the next phase of transportation. This corridor study is really looking at the Dallas North Tollway because it's the busiest of all of our corridors. It's 32 centerline miles with 14 more planned. It traverses 4 counties, 10 cities, lots of transportation agencies, and it's built out already. It's a great pilot, if you will. It's a great way for us to get into a corridor that the NTTA owns and see what is possible, what's possible now and what's possible for the next generation. And it's our thought that any great idea that we get from this study could be applied to any one of our corridors across. So why we call it the D&T study, I think we should probably call it the NTTA corridor study, because we are certain we're going to get some fantastic ideas. It's ideas about safety, it's about performance, traffic operation, and really customer experience. We've taken our engineering blinders off, and what is the art of the possible? We anticipate that we could get engineering solutions. Of course, someone's going to come in with a tunnel or a double-decker. Those are the easy things. But pricing scenarios, as we've seen the benefits in Tarrant County here with dynamic pricing, time of day pricing. What about traffic operation solutions? Maybe the Dallas North Tollway all comes southbound in the morning and northbound in the afternoon. That's a bad example. Excuse me, sir?
Let's not do the whole
thing. But, you know, also multimodal solutions. We've got to start embracing these things if we're going to move the amount of people that are moving, that are here now, and they're moving to the Metroplex on a daily basis. And we're really excited about the last one, emerging technology solutions. What is next? What can we put out there to pilot and test and see for the region what's next in transportation? We are asking for near-term, mid-term, so next 5-year solution, mid-year solutions, and long-term solutions to this. And just ideas, not plans, not specifications, not constructions. This is ideas to improve transportation now and into the future. We're excited kicking off the procurement. It'll take us about 2 years to get through it and about $2 million. But again, while we call it the D&T, we're looking for all of these things on all of our corridors.
All your projects?
All of them. What can we learn? We're looking not only nationally but internationally on what are others doing. We're not the most congested state in the world. What are others doing, and how can we learn from them? Not to forget, always the big projects, we love them, the ribbon cuttings, but NTTA continues to be focused on our internal system safety, capacity improvements, and really managing and maintaining our existing systems. So we've got $250 million over the next 5 years for just our roadway, bridges, buildings, walls, stuff we have to maintain. Safety enhancement projects, those are lighting projects as development occurs, fleet and equipment purchases, as well as our annual asset condition as assessment that's required by our bond.
Elizabeth, will you speak to I think that there was an incident maybe 2 months ago, perhaps a fatality, where there was a wrong way driver on one of your roadways, and obviously that can happen anywhere, but can you kind of put that in context or give some more details on what you all are doing to address that?
Yes, ma'am. I will tell you, safety is our #1 priority at the NTTA, and wrong way driving is an epidemic across the region. We do have a wrong way driver task force at the NTTA. We pilot solutions and have for years. So from lowered signs to different pavement markings to a new one we have being implemented now is a radar detection. So we have a radar out there. If the heat from your engine is going in a different direction than it should, it sends a signal back to the NTTA Safety Operations Center where we can dispatch police quickly. We also have, I hate to use the word rigged, but it's the only word I can think of, our tolling system. As you know, a tolling system operates much like a traffic signal. So when you go up to it, it's got loops, and so you hit A, B, C loop, and our toll tag is red. Well, we wrote a program internally that if that system goes CBA, we know someone's going the wrong direction. So that too sends a signal to our Safety Operations Center that is 24/7, 365 to dispatch police. But still, dispatching police is 5 to 7 minutes that someone could be. We are now working on automatic messages on the roadway, on the DMSs. Again, they're not everywhere, but we are working with handheld devices, getting the messages to either your vehicle, if you have a smart vehicle that can accept that and get it to you, or your cell phone. It's all about right now getting the other people to get off the road. Law enforcement needs to stop that wrong way driver if they're impaired. I will tell you, 99% of them are impaired, but we want to get the message out. That's really our focus right now, is getting it out in seconds, not minutes. So this is a priority for us. We're constantly going across the nation, seeing what people are using, what does work, what doesn't work, and learning from others as well.
I'd love to get a copy of whatever your marketing efforts are so we can be sure to share them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there any way that you could put the kind of the things that blow out your tires if you head up the wrong way? With some sort of a sensor that would say, for emergency vehicles, for wreckers, something like that, they're trying to clear, that they would, basically lower that. But otherwise, if you're heading up the wrong way, your tires are going to be shredded. And
we have, all jokes aside, we have considered that type of enforcement before. At the end of the day, we have a lot of entrance and exit ramps. Where do you put them? Where do you not? Does somebody accidentally roll it? It's more of a danger than a deterrent. But if someone's going the wrong way and we can't get them stopped, they're impaired. Has anyone ever rolled out spikes? Yes, sir. Yes, that's been used, but it's not active across our system. But it gets brought up and considered at every meeting. I promise you that. So I'm
assuming then at that point that you never hear of the wrong way drivers that get stopped without there being usually a fatality.
Yeah.
Do you have statistics? Do you have a lot of wrong way drivers that you're able to get them stopped before they kill somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that may be the reason why you don't go the other way, but that's just something that
I understand.
A couple of questions on that. Refresh my memory, 360 is fully built out or will be fully built out? Because I didn't see them on your list of, we want to get those, because the eventual build out is what, 2 lanes in either direction? Or
360 is 2 lanes in each direction. Remember, we got that southern part built, or 2 lanes all the way down. I believe that the ultimate's 3. Yeah, it's all the way 2 lanes in each direction, all the way down to 287 was built. We got that done. I believe the ultimate section is 3, if I remember the environmental.
And I also didn't see up there taking it on down to 67.
And I will tell you, we meet regularly, I would say monthly, with RTC and the COG staff and TxDOT. We just met yesterday. Where do we want to, how do we want to advance that project? It is in the MTP, just so you know. It can be advanced. We're watching to answer your question. It's not the #1 priority, Judge, I will tell you. We discussed it, and it is on our, let's keep it front and center, and we'll advance it when the time's right. So we're not forgetting.
How many counties would you have to go south to get down to Hillsborough?
I don't know that answer. I don't know. That's section 3.
So there'd be 2. Because Johnson and Ellis is the line that they're on right now for the southern extension from 287 Hill down to that. And then the next one's Hill.
Hill.
And put it right there. Hillsborough.
Yes.
Go Hillsborough.
So we do other things besides build roads. I mean, that's what they tell me. And so we're investing in customer service as well. We are, as you are probably very well aware, the back office toll provider for all the tollways, all the managed lanes, and the airports in the region. We're not in the lanes. TxDOT, Centra, the airports are there, but they send their transactions to us, and we send one bill. We believe in this region that you should have one toll provider. In other regions in the state, there is 3, 4. You could get bills from many different entities, and we as a region locally agree that there should be one toll provider, and that is NTTA. So we are investing in our infrastructure every single day, and the most important one you need to know about is the blue box in 2020 Q3 that says our new back office system go live. This is a very big project for the NTTA. We do all the back office tolling, so everything, your NTE, LBJ, all of our roads, the airports, both airports, everything comes to our back office, and we send out the bills. So we are getting a brand new system, state of the art, moving us forward, a lot more customer features to make it easy to do business with the NTTA. So we are finishing up. It is an implementation. The procurement's been done. We are in implementation, and we're expected to go live the latter part of next year. So we're excited about that, and it really will have, positive impacts on customers and the service that we provide for them outside of our roadways.
You made me pause and consider on a statement you just made. So who are the entities that I should have been expecting a bill from if I used their toll roads and it didn't come through you? Like Austin?
Well, you have a toll tag, sir, and I know that. So it will. We have interoperability
That's encouraging too.
Yes, thank you, sir.
You just sent my daughter a new one because she still had the old.
Yes.
Whatever it was.
The hard case.
The hard case.
And they will not be. We're sending those out, getting that recall program because those will not be interoperable across the state.
So as long as I have a toll tag, it is one single deal. It's just that if I were not.
That's right.
Innovative enough to have the toll tag, then I would be getting bills from everybody.
That's right.
Good. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't under arrest someplace in Central or the Gulf area.
Well,
we'll check.
So we're excited. We're excited to be a piece of the transportation puzzle, and we're looking forward to the next 5 years in advancing these projects. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome, sir.
Well done.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. I'm excited that you're looking at some alternatives, some multimodal alternatives that I think at some point are most definitely going to have to be a part of our overall system here in the DFW region. So that's good.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. You too, sir.
All right. It's time to pull that lever. Game rooms.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I thought I missed something. I think I did, but that's okay. The last briefing is the briefing on the game rooms. Mr. Schaffner is here to address the court at this time.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Credit for changes down in Austin that happened today?
Don't be gloating.
Ask you a generic question.
No comment.
Good answer.
Wanted to continue our conversation that we've been having for last week, and also following up on briefings we did in July and February regarding Tarrant County Commissioners Court adopting game room regulations. We sent out a memo to the court yesterday on a status update. We, as well as an updated version of the actual regulations based on y'all's direction, the court's direction last week. And so today we've got 3 items that are still outstanding. Hours of operation, we are recommending that the court adopt for hours operation 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. That would put us in line with both Harris County's regulation, which is we confirmed 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, as well as Fort Bend County's regulations, which are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. So we're encouraging the court, recommending to the court that that be the recommendation that we include in the game.
So since there's 3 recommendations, let's just take them one at a time. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about that?
No, I'm good with that. The Harris County ordinance has already been tested in the courts.
Okay.
And has been seen to pass muster. So I think we're safe in going with what they have already determined.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm okay with taking action on these items. I will say that I had asked for a comparison of us to Harris, and I don't think that was included in the information that was sent yesterday.
No, ma'am, it was not. We're still waiting on a couple items from Harris County, but as soon as we get those, we will distribute that. We've got a nice spreadsheet, and we've also included Fort Bend counties.
Awesome. Thank you.
So we'll get that too, ma'am. The game room hearing examiner, we have just want to give you an update on that. Our office reached out to Judge Rabel and are in conversations and he's going to have some conversations with the other county court of law judges to see if this is something that they find would be an appropriate venue for a hearing examiner. But we've had some very good conversations to start with. So we'll hold off and come back, I believe, next week at UK for final approval of that one. And then we're still working with the district attorney's office on the final item for the fee for filing a petition for application renewal. If it is appealed to the hearing examiner. So we're still working out some details with that issue. But just wanted to give you an update and get your feedback on the hours of operation. We'll continue to update the regulations and be back to you all next week again. Okay.
And you will have Commissioner Allen's spreadsheet before we take a vote on this?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, our goal is to keep this, as we talked about last week, we're going to keep this on the agenda on a briefing item. Once all of the questions have been answered and you all are comfortable with this, then we'll bring the final ordinance to you for approval. You talked about maybe doing this before Thanksgiving. We feel comfortable that we'll be able to do this before Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
So, Your Honor, if we could go back to the purchasing item. So, during the break, Mr. Cruz went ahead and contacted the OCA on these 2 items, and Vince, if I'm incorrect, please correct me. Okay, would you like to make why don't you go up and make since you talked with them?
The court, we contacted the Forensic Science Commission Division of the OCA, and they said both labs are certainly accredited in different areas of forensic testing. We are awaiting confirmation that one of those forensic areas is in fact the THC, the hemp quantification testing. They have confirmed that both labs are accredited in these, but with respect to the National Medical Services, Inc., it is only the Pennsylvania lab that's accredited for the quantification testing. The Armstrong Forensic Laboratory is, and the various branches are in fact accredited. So, and speaking with David McClellan, he said that with respect to the National Medical Services, it is only the Pennsylvania one with which they are intending to contract and get referrals for the quantification lab results.
Okay, so I thought you were recommending the Irving group.
They have an office in Irving. I was not aware that they were going to just go to Pennsylvania. That's brand new to me as of this morning. But same company.
Okay, so
It's the same company. What we would recommend is that you approve this with the utilization of the Armstrong Forensic Laboratory and also National Medical Services Laboratory, that one which is located in Pennsylvania. And whenever the Irving lab is certified, that we'd be able to use that also. Jack, I think that would pretty much.
And the interesting thing about this, prior to the bid process, we had heard that the price for the lab testing in the Pennsylvania lab was $600, and it was like $75 for the Armstrong lab in Las Colinas. Their pricing came down incredibly low. It's like $175, I believe that's right. The
From 600.
Yes, from 600. Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure that whatever we get is something that the courts are going to accept. So you've kind of assured us that that's the case, so we're okay with that. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Jack.
Your Honor, I believe we have one audience participant.
Yes. Edward Brown, if you would come forward at this time. And just a couple of things. I need you to repeat your name and your address. And then because this item was not on the agenda today, we cannot respond by state law. We can't respond.
Okay, that's fine.
And the limit is 3 minutes.
Okay, it won't take long. Edward Brown, 4000 Hewlin Place, apartment 129, Fort Worth, Texas. Is that good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, members of the Commissioner's Court and Judge Glenn Whitley. My name is Edward Brown. I'm the father of a 19-month-old child who has been hidden from me since birth. Commissioner Brooks and Judge Whitley have been updated on the details of my case. I'm not here to discuss those details, but I would like to speak broadly about the implications of what I have found. Our legal system should not favor the well-connected in our society. When instances of misuse of power are documented and observed by members of law enforcement, it is the duty of our elected officials and senior law enforcement officers to investigate these instances to ensure that they never occur again. We should expect our county-level prosecutors to put the interests of the state and its residents over personal favors. I will continue to update all of you on the findings of my exhaustive research into this matter.
Thank you. Again, as I said earlier, we can't discuss it because it's not on the agenda. If you would like to talk with Mr. Manius, then if we can't resolve this, as opposed to you coming back week after week and us not being able to talk with you, then we might be able to get it on the agenda and go from there.
Okay, I'll speak to him after the meeting. I
Thank you very
appreciate that.
much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for coming out.
Your Honor, that's all we have at this time.
Okay, then at this time, we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under Section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Having returned from our closed session, there being no business to conduct at this time, we are adjourned.
Then dump the lawyers on top of it.